When I was 9 years old, I was at my granddad's house and I was sat on the sofa. I was watching TV and it was like daytime TV. It's like the school holidays, you know, where you're at your grandparents, there's nothing really on TV. You're watching like crappy daytime TV. And there was this one show on that I started watching. And it was this show about this 12-year-old girl. And she had this bent spine where the back of her head was literally stuck to the back of her ass. She was like in a U shape. She couldn't walk. She couldn't move. She couldn't leave bed. She was like completely normal and conscious, but she was just stuck in this U shape. And I watched this show and she had all this crazy surgery, like hammering her spine and shit. And the show ended and it was like, the chances of her getting better are slim, blah, 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 but she'll only find out over the next 10 years. And I remember getting into bed that night, like saying goodnight to my grandparents, saying goodnight to my mum, like pretty normal, getting into bed, 9 years old, got under the sheets, and I was just met with this wave of sheer panic. Like I was convinced that this thing was going to happen to me. I'd lie in bed for 3 years until I got to 12 years old every single night. And I would cry my eyes out, bro. And I became a hypochondriac. Like, I haven't spoken about this publicly, but I became a full-on hypochondriac where I was convinced I was going to die of cancer, get all these diseases, like some like muscle wasting disease. I was convinced I was going to be in a wheelchair. I was going to die. I wasn't going to make it through the night. And I was so scared of anything to do with hospitals, with medicine, anything like that. Before we go into it, I got to give you a little bit more of a backstory, okay? So I suffer from a condition called lymphedema, which is this degenerative, incurable condition into my leg. So when I was 12 years old, I kind of stopped being such a hypochondriac, crying myself to sleep every single night. I slowly started to move past it. And then in some sick twist of fate, when I was 13, I had this problem in my leg and it was swollen like out of nowhere. I was in loads of pain. I remember my dad having to like carry me around because I didn't have a wheelchair or crutch or anything like that. He'd have to literally like carry me everywhere. I was bedbound for weeks. I couldn't really do anything. I missed loads of school. I went for all these tests for months. And eventually I was diagnosed with a condition called lymphedema, which is a degenerative, incurable condition. It basically means that I'm missing the lymph nodes in the lower left side of my body. And the lymphatic system is involved in your immune system, the removal of waste products, swelling. So every single day I have to wear this like black leg tight on my leg in order to be able to walk, in order to be able to function. There's no cure for it. It doesn't get better. And it's only meant to get worse as you get older. So I found that out at 13 years old. And like, that was like a bombshell. Like I felt like my life was over and it ended at that point. And then when I was 17, it got really bad. Like one day I woke up, this is the full transformation video that's on my YouTube channel, like the first video I ever made on here that did really well. But I basically woke up and I had this pain and swelling in my leg. I was super sick. I was throwing up. I was ill. I had a temperature. I was sweating. I was in excruciating pain. I couldn't weight bear. I couldn't bend my knee. I couldn't stand on it. My whole leg felt like it was literally being crushed. And I went into hospital for tests, went home, went back, went home, went back. And eventually they put a big needle into my knee joint and drew fluid from my leg. Sent that off for testing. I went home and I got a call being like, you need to come into hospital right now for an emergency surgery because you've got an infection in your knee joint that's spreading. And then I was like, shit. Like my biggest fear was still having surgeries or going to hospital. I'd gone from not having anything done to suddenly having to go to hospital in the middle of the night to get cut open and have all this stuff done to me. And I was absolutely terrified, man. My mum drives me up there. I got with my mum. I'm like, Mum, don't leave me. She stays in a bed. Like they put me in the children's ward, even though like I'm near 18. I should probably be in the adults ward. Trying to be brave, trying not to cry in front of like the doctors and the surgeons. And then they put me on the bed. They wheel me into the operating room to have my operation. I haven't eaten in like 12 hours. And as we're getting wheeled through the corridors by like all these strange people, like, I don't know if you've ever been to a hospital and you see like the people in the hospital beds getting wheeled through and you're like, oh, I wonder what's happening to them, are just lying there like looking like empty vessels. That was me, bro. Like just looking at everyone, like looking at me as I'm going into theater, and I was suddenly completely alone, and it suddenly got very fucking real. Like, I was about to do this thing that was my biggest fear throughout my entire life. We're all going to go through shit. It might not be physical for you. It might be mental. Like everyone's going to go through something physical, something mental. Someone's going to die that they love. Like we are all going to go through awful stuff. It is going to happen to us and we don't have control over it. It is inevitably going to happen. It's not if, it's just a matter of when. And the way that we deal with those things, the way that we take these things, the way that we like our mindset for the situation, the way that we come out of it determines our recovery. It determines the people around us, like their happiness. It determines our happiness, and it determines like what is the end result. The choice is always yours. And yeah, this is without further ado, this is the 9 lessons that I've learned from 9 surgeries. In the run up to going into theater, I can't tell you how scared I was. I was so petrified. Like I thought I was going to die. And the first thing that I learned from all of this is that this too shall pass. Basically means that everything is going to be all right. No matter how bad it is, no matter how deep and dark the situation is, how you don't think you're going to get through it, how there's like no light at the end of a tunnel, it will always get better, man. Like even in the depths when there is like absolutely no hope, there will still be good times ahead. No matter how bad it seems right now, it will always get better. And the other thing that I've always thought about as well is like, especially as a man, like what is masculinity? What is being a man, being someone that's strong, being someone that's a leader? It's like people are going to look up to you. It doesn't matter who you are. Like people are going to look at you as a man, even if you're a woman. Like this is still something that you can kind of aspire to be towards. Like people are gonna look at you and they're gonna look at what you're going through, and you can be a light in the darkness. You can either be a fucking pussy, lie there, roll over and die and cry and moan about how hard your life is, or you can be someone that shows strength, that shows like, yes, I can fucking do this thing. If I can get through this, you can get through anything. It's like I look up to people that go through so much shit, people that get blown up in battle, people that lose. Like if this guy can come back from this, like I can come back from this stupid, measly little surgery that I'm having. The way that you deal with these things, other people are going to look at, and you can either be like this black hole of negativity of, oh, my life is so hard. You know, like you see the really fucking fat person in the mobility scooter who once like broke an ankle or has some like arthritis in their leg, and they're like going around the mobility scooter and they're like miserable and they make absolutely no effort whatsoever to improve their life or improve their surroundings. You can be that person there that just like sucks the life out of everyone, or you can be the person that has the arthritis and is like, yeah, I'm not going to let this thing fucking dictate my life. I'm going to come out stronger. I'm going to show people that even though I have this horrible thing happen to me, this condition, I'm going to fucking come out and triumph. That is something that has always stuck with me, that people are going to look at you, and when you are going through these shit times, the way that you deal with that thing is either going to negatively or positively impact other people. Are you going to bring the people around you up? Like if I'm like there, like, yeah, I'm going to get better to my parents and my family and friends. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fucking come back from this. Watch me smash this. Let's fucking go. They're going to be happy for me. They're going to believe in me. Versus if I'm like, oh, my life is so hard. How am I ever going to come back from this? I'm going to be crippled for the rest of my life. It's going to drag the lives of myself and everyone else down around me, bro. So like your mindset affects other people, not just you. The next thing is pain and fear equals growth. And it's about going towards that growth, using fear as an indicator. I've literally got it tattooed on me. Like I try and live by this every single day. Aversion, ascension. It's the idea that every day we're met with choices. Every day we're met with things that scare us. Every day we're met with a fork in the road. Again, going back to the example, because every man can relate to this, of seeing the pretty girl, you want to get a number, you want to speak to her, but you're too scared. And it's like, you have two choices. You run up to her and you grab her by no, I'm joking. The first choice is you think about doing it and then you don't do it. You come up with all these things in your head. You let fear win. You choose aversion. You run away from the thing that you're scared of. And if you're running away from the thing that you're scared of, you're not exposing yourself to that thing, you're never going to grow as a person. Or you can be like, fuck it. I'm going to choose ascension. I'm going to choose to rise. I'm going to choose to grow as a person. And you let freedom win. And you go and you ask for the girl's number. And yeah, she might reject you. She probably will be like, oh, I got a boyfriend, or she might reject you, but she might not. The main thing is that you've tried, man. You've conditioned yourself. You're rewiring your brain to make these difficult choices, to grow as a person, to use fear as an indicator and lean towards it. Like if you take away one thing from this video, it's that when something scares you, lean towards it. Realize that your fears are in your head. They're not actually that bad. And fear is a good thing because it directs you to the areas of growth that you actually need to lean into and grow towards. Like we're loss averse. We're scared of losing things. So if you see this thing and you're terrified of it, lean into it, do it, because that is the only way that you're going to get better and you're actually going to grow and develop as an individual and become the person you want to be. The things that you think matter don't matter. So relax, like don't sweat the small stuff. And I want to say that I'm not someone that's just like Zen all the time and like this fucking godlike figure on YouTube who walks around all stoic and nothing gets him down. Like I need to remind myself of these things sometimes as well, which is why I'm making a YouTube video. But when I was in hospital, when I was lying there completely alone, I was hospitalized a few years ago when I had probably the worst, is the worst pain of my entire life, right? They did the fourth synovectomy on my knee. I had one surgery that failed. I was hospitalized about 2 weeks before Christmas. It was during COVID as well, so no one could come and see me. I was allowed one visitor, and the one visitor that I chose was my girlfriend, who lived 6 hours away. She's working as a doctor, so she only has 2 days off. And rather than like getting someone to come and see me regularly, I just wanted to see her. So I like chose her, and I could have basically no one see me other than like on 2 days when she could get off work and come down. So I spent, I think, about a month in hospital completely by myself. And before hospital, before all this happened, before having the surgeries, I was worried about doing work, about like meeting a deadline, about university, about like all this stupid shit. And suddenly none of it matters when you have something like major like that go wrong in your life. Like this, the thing that you're worried about right now, the thing that's causing you stress and anxiety, me finishing this YouTube video, going to bed too late, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't fucking matter. In the grand scheme of things, just like relax. You are more resilient than you think. You are stronger than you think. We can do more than we think. You can push harder than you think you can push. And we set all these limitations of ourselves and we think, oh, we can't do this. Like old me would have been like, I wouldn't have even ever had one surgery. Like I can't imagine doing it. But when you've been through it, when you've been through the shit, and you've come out the other side, you realize that you can do a lot more than you think you can. So don't set limitations on yourself. Don't be like, oh, I can't do this because of this. Just fucking try it, bro. Put in the time, put in the work. Like I was told I'd never run properly again, that I'd have arthritis in my leg for the rest of my life after this. And I was like, no, like that's not going to happen to me. Fuck this. I'm going to get completely better. I was told I would never fully bend my leg again. I basically got full mobility in my leg. I'm more flexible than 99.99% of people in the world, which is absolutely fantastic. And I was told that I would be like below average crippled for the rest of my life. And whilst my leg isn't perfect, I regain my mobility. I can walk, I can run, I can sprint, I can do a fucking 10K. Like I can do pretty much everything that I want to do. We set so many limitations, man. Like you are stronger than you think. And going through all this made me realize that there's so much more that we can do that we don't do because we think we can't do. In 2019, it was the week before my birthday. I just landed from Portugal after doing my skydiving license. I was completely by myself. My birthday was like in a few days. I was going to hang around London. I was set to go on this crazy family holiday with my whole family, which I'd never done before because I'm from like quite a poor family and family holidays weren't really a thing. Like it's this massive thing for us. I'd been preparing for a physique show for the last like 2-3 months, absolutely busting my balls, grinding, working in the gym on this crazy diet, getting crazy lean. It was my birthday coming up. I was due to meet up with my favorite producer and DJ, a guy called Metric, go to a studio, help him film a load of stuff. Like I'd finally managed to like arrange it and like get in the similar social circle. And it was going to be absolutely crazy. It was like the best week of my life was about to happen. I landed in London, went to bed late at night. And as I was going to bed, I felt like something was off in my body. Like I felt like my leg just felt like a little bit weird. And I woke up the next day in excruciating pain, bro. Like again, like my legs getting ripped apart. I couldn't move. I knew I was in a bad way. So I got to the hospital. They told me that I had an infection again, need to go for emergency surgery. And like that, everything was ruined. The physique show was ruined that I'd spent months of like grinding blood, sweat and tears for. The family holiday was ruined. I was on my own in London. I wasn't seeing Metric. And best of all, I was going to be spending my birthday by myself in hospital. And you might think that I'd send you into some like downward spiral of depression, but it taught me to appreciate the little things. So because I had such a nasty infection, rather than being in a ward with like 10 people, which I was in at first when they first took me to hospital, like old people like screaming and coughing and like people throwing up and like unable to sleep and like snoring, like it was absolutely awful. They actually moved me into my own private room so I wouldn't give other patients that had like surgeries the infections that I had in my leg.
It's actually my birthday as well. Happy birthday to me. We might have missed We Are Festival on Saturday and Sunday. None of my friends came up because there isn't any reason for them to come up, because it's a long way for them to come. But I'm just happy. Like I'm honestly grateful. You got to take it as it is. The way you feel about something isn't going to change it.
So I was so grateful for that thing. It made me everything else kind of irrelevant. The fact that I had my own hospital room, I could sleep. I was getting seen to by doctors. I had healthcare. I had like people looking after me. I was getting treated. You learn to appreciate the little things. And it's like, no matter how bad you think it is again, there is always stuff to be grateful for. And it's like that mindset of gratitude. Like this is something that has taught me, and I need to remember to do this more often. Like there is always things to be grateful for no matter what. Like right now, like I'm worried about it getting too late. It's like 10:30. I'm making this video. I still need to go do my cardio. I've got a physique show soon, but I'm making a sick video. I'm doing a sick job. I'm doing something awesome. I've got a MacBook. I've got some sick lighting. I've got a watch. I can stand up. Look, I can stand up. I can get out of bed. And there are people that literally die. No matter how bad your situation is, they will literally die is probably a bad word. They'll do anything to be in the situation that you're in right now. Happiness is circumstantial. This is what all this has taught me. It's weird, but I've been the most miserable when everything is going great. When I've had a sick house, a sick car, been in a sick location, I've been the most miserable at that point in my life. And some of the times where I've been happiest, like I look back and it's like times where I've just come out of theater and I've got this long road of recovery ahead of me, but I'm like, okay, I'm getting better. I'm going to fucking smash this. I'm going to do this. It's like, it's a mindset, bro. It's about gratitude. It's about looking at the things that you do have and the things that you can't do. If you're someone that struggles with this and you're a miserable right, I suggest meditating. And also what you can do is before you go to bed, write down 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. Because there's always 3 things that you're grateful for. Like right now, what 3 things am I grateful for? I'm grateful for the fact that I have a gym close by me in my apartment so I can go do my cardio after this. I'm grateful for the fact that I can walk, I can talk, I'm not in pain right now. And I'm grateful for the fact that I'm going to go to bed hungry and wake up leaner, which is going towards my mission of becoming a shredded sick cunt. You don't need many friends, you just need the real ones. A tribe, a community of people that are there for you, that support you, that actually truly care for you. When shit hits the fan, you really realize who the people are that support you, that care for you, that love you. And it just goes to show how invaluable having like a small group of close friends are. Like I can count all my close friends on one hand, and I've been friends with these people, like a lot of them, for absolutely years. Like I've never had massive groups of friends, but it's like the people that you do have are the people that fucking care for you. And I remember again in 2019, I think it's 2019, I remember a few years ago, this bro, I still can't believe I've had 9 surgeries. I remember a few years ago, I was hospitalized on Christmas or a few weeks before Christmas. I think it was like 2 weeks before Christmas. I thought I was going to get out and I didn't. I remember on Christmas Day, I was stuck in hospital. I was by myself. It was miserable. The NHS in the UK, the health system is absolutely terrible. Like it's really, really bad. And I was in a ward, in a hospital bed. Not too bad. I was kind of grateful for things that I had. And then a little knock at the ward entrance came in. They didn't let him in. It was my mate Tom. And he had brought me an entire roast dinner from like his family's Christmas dinner for Christmas. And that one thing, bro, will stick with me for the rest of my life. So it's like, have a few people, like build real, genuine friendships, like a tribe of people that have got your back, that fucking love you, that fucking care for you. It's like you don't need a massive social group. You just need core people that you fuck with, that lift you up, that bring you higher, that have got your back in the darkest of times. And the final thing in this is you don't think it's going to happen to you until it does. Like we go through life thinking that we're not going to die, thinking that we're invincible, thinking that we're never going to have these issues, never going to have these health scares. And so many people just like ponder through life, just doing the bare mediocre, doing the bare minimum, just getting by like, oh yeah, I'll get around to doing this. One day I'll be successful. One day I'll take my family on holiday. One day I'll do this thing. We just go through life like mundane. And before you know it, it's over. You're dead. You can't walk. You're crippled. You're disabled. You're in hospital. Whatever it is, this person's gone. This person's dead. You are inevitably gonna die. So have a fucking good time every day that you can. Don't take life too seriously. Do the shit that you want to do. Enjoy yourself. Like take risks. Do the shit that scares you because it's too short to be fucking mundane and mediocre, my guy. Like if you're watching this, what are you doing? Go and do some cool shit. If you want to go skydiving, but you don't really have the money for it, just go and can do it. Like money can be acquired. Like you can do all of these things. And it's like, don't just coast through life giving it the bare minimum. Wrapping this up, one of the biggest things for me is that every day is a gift. Every day is precious. And as cliche as it sounds, like you will not have the opportunities that you have right now forever. So seize them, like go and have some fun, go on that holiday, go on that trip, go and ask that girl out, like enjoy yourself and actually live beyond average.